Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back. I don't know why it decided it randomly wanted to restart my computer right there, but nonetheless, we are back and we are racing here at Talladega Superspeedway. Welcome in. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys hit the like button on the stream, hit that share button, hit that follow button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family here today as these drivers once again duking it out here in this one for what is going to be a very exciting day of racing action. Is nice and easy down across the line. Leading lap number 1 is the 23 of Tristan Kyle. Kyle leads that first lap of the evening with Bruce Bernard in position number 2, rolling the outside lane. Roberto Ramirez, the 20 ride of Philip Tuscano, and the 39 of Jackson Connell all up inside our top 5. Is right now that team is looking very, very stout out on the racetrack, man. They are hooked up here this evening in 4. That Ignite Motorsports team, all 4 drivers inside the top 5, but look out, here they come. 2 and 3 wide back there behind them, looking to try to race their way up to the front of the field. You see Jesse Calloway right there in the middle. He's going to jump to the outside, so he jumps on board with the number 97 to Colton Hardy. Hardy's trying to get that outside lane roll and trying to use that to his advantage out there on the speedway. Right now looking really, really good, looking really strong here early in this race. And now for each and every one of these drivers, they also got to keep in the back of their mind that we're going to see some stage breaks here. We're going to see a stage break, I do believe, at the completion of lap number 20. So for these drivers, knowing that you're going to have this stage break, basically this competition caution flag where you're going to get an opportunity to kind of head out there, head down pit side, make sure you get some work done to your race car, make sure that you are set up and ready to rumble here for this 8-main feature event as hopefully things continue to look good, hopefully things continue to work good here this evening. I'm going to see if we can get this overlay to come up so that way we can have it in our back pocket and working for us, as I'm not sure what crashed my PC right there, but something decided that it just wanted to restart the PC, give it a quick little reboot. Luckily enough, looks like everything came right back on, everything came right back up instantly, and hopefully that continues to stay good and we don't run into another issue like that throughout this amazing broadcast. It's Tristan Kyle, Roberto Ramirez, teammates hooked up down low. You do see Jackson Connell now leading the way here in that outside lane. Unfortunately for their other teammate, Philip Tuscano, kind of got sent backwards here a little bit. Unfortunately for the 20 ride, now sits in about that 10th position. He's trying to get this third lane rolling again, hoping that he gets maybe a couple other takers to go with him and Kevin Winker here and try to maybe edge his way a little closer back to the front of the field here, knowing that he wants to jump up and help his teammates out and kind of be right there with them throughout the rest of this feature event as Tristan Kyle, Jackson Connell, Roberto Ramirez still sit 1, 2, and 3 on the speedway. The 93 ride of Michael Yates, he's right there in the mix as here comes that third lane is, oh baby, Winker has got that outside lane rolling, and here we go. Outside lane pulling to the front, middle lane unfortunately kind of losing a little bit of momentum here. They may be on the backslide here in a quick hurry, but that outside lane momentum maybe paying dividends here for that 42 of Kevin Winker, as Winker is going to say, you know what, I'm going to jump down low. I'm going to jump into that middle lane, see if he can try to control maybe that middle to outside groove. But as they lost that 42, it kind of strengthened that middle groove and unfortunately kind of broke that outside lane up a little bit. And that's going to kind of hurt and kill a lot of their momentum, not having that lead car in the 42 sitting there at the front of the pack. Is Winker going to pull out in front, and K-Dub leads lap number 5 here this evening from Talladega Superspeedway. Kevin Winker now out in front. He's going to jump right down to the inside lane in front of Tristan Kyle, and now he's got that Ignite Motorsports team kind of right on his back bumper. They can try to chew him up and spit him out here if they can find an opening, maybe leave him high and dry, kind of get him back deeper in the field again. I'm sure they would love to try to do that if they can find that groove, if they can find that lane to be able to kind of jump up and around him here to his inside, to his outside. Just kind of shove him into the middle right here, and there you go. You're going to see the 43 and the 23 both jump up to that middle groove. They'll fall in line behind their teammate, Jackson Connell. Now they got a lot more speed and momentum, and they're going to quickly clear that 42 ride of Kevin Winker. Now, can they pull the trigger? Oh, it's going to get tight right there. Oh, baby, a little contact there between Winker and Yakes as the 39 of Jackson Connell came right down across the nose there of Kevin Winker. And now for K-Dub, he's got to figure out another way now. He's kind of trapped in here. Where does he go? Does he go back to the outside lane? Does he try to do what he just did again? Or do we see just, maybe the 39 kind of control this middle to outside lane? I think that's really what this team is hoping to do, is that they can keep Tristan Kyle and Roberto Ramirez kind of hooked up down low on that bottom lane. If they can kind of stay hooked together, if they can get Jackson Connell to kind of, lead the charge in that middle to outside groove where he was for a little while, kind of fell back now as here we go. Kevin Winker going to get another good run to the outside. So Winker's looking to jump back out in front, as unfortunately that is the 17 ride who we saw up in the battle here. And for Bruce Bernard, he has now fallen a lap down, actually 2 laps down now out there on the racetrack. That's a tough spot to be early in this race. Now he is in line for a couple lucky dogs, but a tough break here for Bruce Bernard early on, going that many laps down, as we do see Clinton Woodby, Philip Tuscano, they're back here a little deeper in the field in that 14th and 15th position. They're trying to stay right there in the battle, as Tristan Kyle, though, out in front continues to lead the way as the Ignite Motorsports team once again kind of gets lined up here in that first 3 positions as they roll 3 deep here in that inside row. And then you do see Winker, he's still trying to get that outside groove rolling again here, trying to get this 3 ride of Keith Prince to kind of give him a couple little love shoves here, try to get him back up towards the front. Unfortunately, they don't got a whole lot of help coming to their back bumper right now. They need some other drivers. They need Callaway. They need that 6 ride of Rusty Modesty. Maybe this 54 ride, David Traylor Jr., the 97 of Colton Hardy. They're coming in a quick hurry, and it looks like they're just going to take that speed momentum and go right to the outside lane. Seems like they can really get a good run here, good push, and all of a sudden they built up a ton of momentum, and they just blow right around about 5, 6, 7 cars like they were standing still down that back straightaway. So that may be something to keep in mind for late in this race. I don't know what they were just doing, how they figured that out, if that's something that they're going to game plan for, maybe to try to win a stage, maybe try to use that to their advantage late in the race. Now you see the 46 moves up in front of them. Look out, they're 3, 4 wide. Oh, baby. That could have got a whole lot worse in a quick hurry, as, man, that was a close call for the QH Designs rides right there. As, man, that was a close one for Colton Hardy, close one for David Traylor Jr., and obviously a very close one for Skylar Berry, and about a handful of other drivers that were right behind them that could have very easily had gotten tagged and taken around right there. And unfortunately now for Skylar Berry, kind of gets put in the middle here. Doesn't look like anyone after that contact really wants to jump in behind him or work with him here at this moment in time. So unfortunately he's kind of just stuck there, riding in that middle groove. Not a whole lot of help to his back bumper. You do see the 3 ride of Keith Prince is there. Does Prince try to help him out here, try to establish this 3rd line again, or do these guys just jump down to the inside? There we go. They're going to jump down to the inside. Colton Hardy and the 54 of David Traylor Jr. They'll say, you know what, we'll help. We'll get the help here from a push, but they don't want to see that 46 right in front of them maybe for another handful laps or 2 after that close call, and how quickly things could have went a stride for all 3 of them there. And luckily enough, they're all able to keep going in the right direction, and they're going to battle their way right to the front of the field as Colton Hardy on the outside groove. Looks like he's going to jump up and potentially take the race lead. So for Colton Hardy, he now jumps out in front, has the top spot, has this race lead, and he's hoping that he can use it to his advantage to try and pull away here a little bit. Maybe jump down in front of the 23 ride. I'm sure he'd love to bring that 54 ride of David Traylor, though, with them. They've been working well together so far here this evening, and if they can try to stay hooked up, it's almost like the 23 and the 43 They kind of found their teammates. They kind of found a good dancing partner that, you know, they know, they trust, they can move with, they can kind of make some decisions with when it comes to these pushes and bumps and everything else, that they just really work together. And it seems like for David Traylor Jr. and that 97 rider Colton Hardy, that they are hooked up here this evening together, and they're going to be looking to stay that way until the end of this race and hope that they can push one another, or either or, into the race lead and into victory lane. Alrighty, as here they come, nice and easy, back down through the tri-oval here at Talladega Superspeedways. You do see that 42 of Kevin Winker. Winker is definitely one of those drivers that is going to be around the front of the field all evening long. He's a hound for the front when it comes to Superspeedways, and I know for that 42 ride, he'll be looking to get that Muehlberger Custom Homes number 42 up and into victory lane. It seems like it's kind of checkers or wreckers for that 42 when it comes to these super speedway races, whether it's in the NASCAR Truck Series or here in the Xfinity Series or pretty much any of the NASCAR Top Series. When we get Winker out there on the racetrack, he's going to be making it 2 wide, 3 wide. He's not one to just follow the leader. He wants to be that leader, and he gives it everything he's got until he's got it. And once he's got it, it's hard to get it away from him here. Luckily enough, early on, they were able to steal that top spot back away from him, and Winker's been trying to find some other dancing partners, some other, helping hands to potentially try to work his way back up here towards the front. Now he's kind of got them established. They're working that outside lane, and I know for Winker, he's thinking, hey, if I can keep on pushing this 87 ride, if I got Tuscano and that 39 O'Connell back there on my back bumper, then they're going to have a fight here at the front of the field. As down the back straightaway, it is Joe Yates. Yates continues to lead the way. Yates out in front, but boy, oh boy, are these guys ever putting on a show for us, man. 3 wide racing here at the front of the field. 3 wide battle for the race lead, and you do see that outside lane. Now they lost the 39 ride of Jackson Connell, so Connell jumps to the middle groove, and you can see how much that quickly affected that outside lane. They've already kind of broken apart. Now you see Jackson Connell, he's looking to make some more moves. He's looking to be aggressive here. Splits them 3 wide, not a whole lot of room between that 3 machine of Keith Prince and the 6 of Rusty Modesty, but somehow or another was able to find the hold of 3 right, had to roll out of it, jump up higher there. Unfortunately, that's going to hurt Keith Prince, but it's going to move this 39 a little closer once again to the front of the field. So if you're Jackson Connell, you're looking to continue to just try to keep on picking up these spots, looking to keep on doing exactly what you just did, which is cut underneath, maybe try to find a little bit of a gap and shove your nose in there. It may be treacherous, it may be a very dangerous move, especially early on in this race, but with those stage points on the line coming up here in the next 5 laps, you kind of want to get there. You want to put yourself into a position where you can earn those points and get some extra, leniency towards, maybe making it through to the next round of our playoffs. As out in front, it is still that 23 of Tristan Kyle. Tristan and the 97 now been door to door for quite a few laps, but the two of them just kind of jostle back and forth. A good shove down low, a good shove to the middle. One will jump in front of the other, and they drag race around this 2.5 mile super speedway here in Alabama. And right now, you see that middle lane starting to get a little bit more oomph. They're starting to get a little bit more pushes here, and it's pushing that 97 out in front. Now he was clear of that 23. I thought maybe he jumped down low, maybe he jumped in front of the 23 ride, trying to control that bottom groove with the 54, controlling that middle lane. But it looks like they're just going to kind of stay right there together, stay in that middle groove and just trying to race this one out to the checkered flag here on this stage, and really not trying to make any crazy moves or crazy moments out there on the speedway. See Joe Yanks in that 42, Kevin Winker still trying to get that third lane rolling again. They're sticking with them. They're side drafting. They're doing everything they need to do to kind of hang with these guys. Unfortunately, it just hasn't been enough to move forward, find any extra positions, trying to put themselves back into the battle for the race lead. I think they're going to need at least another car, a car or two here to potentially kind of get them a little closer here to the front, to kind of get them back into this battle here at the front of the field. And right now, they're just trying to do everything they can to hang on. And honestly, it's working pretty good, but here we go. We do see Jackson Connell. Connell again down through that tri-oval, able to find a hole, gets underneath the 46 of Skylar Berry and virtually forces Berry up the racetrack into that third lane as the 39 just kind of scoots right down low underneath of him. And for right now, for the 39 ride, it is working. Whatever he is doing, whatever he is finding, I don't know if the 454 or the 97 have been looking in their mirror, seeing that if they leave a big enough gap through the bottom side here between themselves and the car to their inside, this 39 ride is going to be right there, ready to pounce and ready to try to take that spot away from you. And he's done it twice now. He did it to the 46, did it to that 3 ride of Keith Prince, and he may be looking to do it again here to not only try to put himself into a better position, trying to earn some stage points, but maybe also trying to, help his teammates out here in winning this stage. There's only 2 laps left to go here in this stage. So for Tristan Kyle, Roberto Ramirez, they're looking strong. They're feeling strong down on that inside lane as they continue to stay in first and second down low on the bottom side of the racetrack. Colton Hardy continues to roll nicely here in that middle groove with the 54 David Trailer right there on his back bumper. It's Joe Yakes and that 42 of Kevin Winker on the outside lane, and it seems like once they kind of got that 46 in play, they've really started to draw their way back into this battle at the front of the field, and they are there. They are right in the mix of things here at the front of the field as they are still 3 wide. Nice and easy down into the tri-oval. Woo, doggy, this is going to be a good show, chat. This is going to be a great race, some great battles out there. These guys are going to continue to put on an absolutely amazing show for us here this evening. Hopefully you guys are, ready for an absolute treat as we got 1 lap left to go here in this stage. This is the last chance. This is the last pushes. If you got something left in the tank, if you've been holding back or not right on that throttle, it is time to go. It is time to give the biggest pushes that you can if you want to try to earn those stage points or try to help a teammate earn some of those stage points. You gotta push, push, push as we head down into corner number 3 here at Talladega Superspeedway. See that 42 ride trying to get that 87 ride rolling. There's not a whole lot of momentum up there as of right now as Tristan Kyle continues to lead the way. Now here we go, Jackson Connell. He'll jump to the outside lane. He'll say, you know what? Give me a push. Help me out a little bit. As here they come back down across the start-finish line. Drag race back to the line. Who is it gonna be? I do believe it is Colton Hardy. Hardy, I do believe, winning the stage. Colton Hardy wins the stage here with David Trailer Jr. I do believe coming home in the 3rd position. It was the 23 of Tristan Kyle who will come home in 2nd. David Trailer Jr. in 3rd. And then I do believe it's going to be a tight battle between Roberto Ramirez. I do believe he will be in that 4th spot with Jackson Connell, Joe Yakes, Keith Prince, Skylar Berry, Rusty Modesty, Clinton Woodby, and Philip Tuscano potentially rounding out our top 10 here in that stage. We'll have to wait and see where everyone lines back up, but I do believe it was that QH Designs winning bid. NASCAR diecast sales and card breaks 97 of Colton Hardy, who picks up the stage win. So for Colton, big stage winner right there. Good points day for you. Good amount of points into your back pocket. Can turn a bad day into a decent day in a quick hurry. You got those stage points. You put them into your back pocket. If you get tied up in a few more big wrecks, if you get put into a couple more difficult positions late in this race, that could potentially be there to kind of give you a little bit of safe bail if things start to go wrong for you out there on the racetrack. It's Colton Hardy in the 23 of Tristan Kyle, 1 and 2. And we do see David Trailer Jr., Roberto Ramirez there in 4th. Jackson Connell comes home in 5th there in that stage with Keith Prince, Jesse Calloway, Joe Yakes, Clinton Woodby, and Rusty Modesty rounding out the top 10 there in that stage. Unfortunately, Skylar Perry back in 11th with Philip Tuscano, Kevin Winker there in 13th, Evan Schilling in 14th. Michael Yakes down pit side here, now still on the lead lap for the number 93, but came down pit road a little bit early, and unfortunately for Bruce Bernard, also came down pit side during the green flag conditions there, and for Bruce, making a green flag pit stop back on lap number 3 has put him already a couple laps down, and unfortunately, it's gonna be tough for him. He's gonna need a caution flag after this break. Obviously, he's going to be able to get the wave around. He gets one lap back, but he still needs another lap to get back into the battle. He needs another quick caution, get himself back on the lead lap and back into the fight here at the front of the field. Is Anna? What's good, Anna? Anna says, what up, Peacemaker? What up, Anna? How are you? How are you, Mrs. Alessandro? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful, wonderful day. As here we go, drivers making their way down pit side here. Colton Hardy, Tristan Kyle, David Traylor Jr., Roberto Ramirez, and Jackson Connell, our top five, all headed down pit side, all looking to get some service here. Now for these drivers, it's going to be about fuel. Fuel here throughout this race. Tires, not so important here. You don't really need fresh tires. You don't really have any importance on tires. You don't have a ton of tire wear here at Talladega Superspeedway. But what you do have is the need to have a lot of fuel in your ride. And we do see a few drivers staying down pit side here for an extended period of time, including that 97 ride. He is sticking down here for a little bit while longer as the 3 rider Keith Prince. He's going to roll out of the pits in first. Tristan Kyle will come out in second with David Traylor Jr., Jackson Connell, Evan Schilling. Our top 5 coming to this restart with Roberto Ramirez, Rusty Modesty, Philip Tuscano, Joey Yakes, and Clinton Woodby going to be the top 10 as we go back to green flag racing. Now we do see Skylar Berry and Jesse Calloway, they're able to leave here. Here comes Winker. Looks like he's finally done his pit stop. Looks like Michael Yanks, he's going to come back down pit road as well. Now for Yanks, he also earned a black flank down pit road, so potentially a speeding penalty there for that 93 ride. And here we go, Colton Hardy, our stage 1 winner, finally makes his way back out onto the racing surface. So for the Asphalt Outlaws, UH Designs winning bid 97 wins the stage. Now looking to try to win this race for that 97 machine, giving up a lot of track position, but we'll see if he can try to battle his way back up to the front of the field. It should be fairly easy. It shouldn't take very much, but for these drivers, every little instance, every little setback could be the make or break on your afternoon, as we'll get a quick word in here from some of our sponsors here this evening. As we're going to get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. We'll have to keep an eye out here as the 93 did get a black flag during that wave of pit stops, and we'll unfortunately have to serve that penalty down pit road after we go back to green flag racing, so that's going to really set him back here in this race. Now we do have a few other drivers that have elected to come back down pit road on lap 23 here. We did see a few drivers, including Phil Tuscano, Evan Schilling, Clinton Woodby, Skylar Berry, Keith Prince, all coming back down pit side. Roberto Ramirez also made an additional pit stop there. So I'm not sure if it's drivers just looking to try to get a little extra fuel into their tank, making sure they're absolutely topped up and ready to go here for this A-Main feature event. They are going to get another opportunity to come down pit side here to maybe get a little extra splash of fuel and get ready to go again, because it could come down to a few mileage race. We've seen these races really get broken open. Obviously, we saw that first 20 laps of 2 wide, 3 wide racing. Some great battles out there on the Speedway. Now, here we go. We see our race leader, Tristan Kyle. He's going to come down pit road, and it's going to bring a slew of drivers with him. Here comes Joe Yakes, Tristan Kyle, Jackson Connell. Here comes Jesse Calloway, Philip Tuscano, Evan Schilling, Woodby, Skylar Berry, Keith Prince, Roberto Ramirez. All these drivers coming back down pit side, making additional pit stops here today. So that's going to make things a little bit wild here for the restart, and obviously for the pit strategy. How's that going to help them out? How is it going to really affect their race? It's going to be maybe a couple laps better fuel. It's going to be in their back pocket, as we will get them stacked up, racked up, and ready to go back to green flag racing. David Traylor Jr. will consume the race lead with Rusty Modesty in second. Colton Hardy will be in third, and Kevin Winker will round out our top 4. And Michael Yanks will be back in that 5th position, but it won't be very long before he has to make his way down pit road and serve that black flag. And that's going to get things very interesting here, because these guys still aren't really lined up all too well here. The lights are off the official iRacing pace car. I think they're trying to figure out where everyone needs to go here. Things kind of got a little busted up there, and there we go. Looks like things kind of back to where they're supposed to be, where drivers are supposed to be starting here or restarting. It still seems like it's a little bit busted up. We're waiting for the rest of the field to catch back up to these guys, as well as here comes Tristan Kyle and Jackson Connell and the rest of the supporting cast who made that additional pit stop here. Now, I do believe they may have to start single file here for this restart, so that's going to make things interesting. They got to kind of go back to single file behind these guys and kind of back a little deeper in the field. That's going to kind of hurt them ever so slightly, but things should tighten up here as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. I just don't understand why Winker isn't right up beside the 54, or the 97 isn't right up there as well. It just seems like everyone's trying to figure out where they're supposed to be. Okay, here we go. So Winker's finally kind of pulling up a little bit more. Okay, nope, looks like we're going to get an extended yellow flag here. So the caution flag is going to be extended. We're going to see Tristan Kyle end up coming back down pit side. Here comes Phil Tuscano as well, Clinton Woodby, Skylar Berry, Keith Prince, Roberto Ramirez. They're all going to make an additional pit stop here, as I do believe they have gotten Bruce Bernard back on the lead lap as well. So that's a great break for Bruce, these extended yellows. And I'm giving him an extra wave around here, and now he's back onto the lead lap and back into the battle here this evening, as well as now, here we go. Looks like things maybe a little bit more cordial here at the front of the field. Everyone's kind of back into where they're supposed to be, and things are kind of lined up a little bit better, and that means another restart here on the horizon, another opportunity for drivers to try to find their way up to the front of the field. Now, for some, it's going to be a little bit tougher here. Some, it's going to be, you know, a little bit more traffic than what they're used to or what they've seen throughout this race. When you look at drivers like Roberto Ramirez, or, you know, yeah, Roberto's, you know, he stayed there in second for a long time throughout that first run. He's now back here in position number 12. You see Tristan Kyle's back here as well in that 13th position. So a couple guys that stayed up at the front of the field pretty much all evening long and didn't really have anyone except for teammates in front of them. They're going to kind of be in a little bit of uncharted territory. Your car can work a whole lot different, can definitely feel a whole lot different. It can drive a lot different here. When you're back deeper in the field, you kind of get a little bit more of that draft of your car. You can start to get a little bit more loose or tight. You can run into more issues, or, you know, realize that, you know, maybe your car isn't that good behind other drivers. Maybe you need that fresh air on the hood, or potentially just, you know, maybe not being able to receive or take pushes as good as you were towards the front of the field with a little bit less aero drag on your race car. So we'll have to wait and see how those guys are going to be able to handle it and try to drive their way back up here to the front of this pack. As David Traylor Jr., Kevin Winker, K-Dub, and the Muleburger Custom Homes Ryan going to have the inside group, the outside lane for the 54. That's 6 Ryan of Modesty, and the 97 of Colton Hardy, our stage 1 winner back there, restarting in about the sixth position as here we go down through the beautiful Genko restart zone, and it's the outside lane. Our race leader, David Traylor Jr., who gets a great launch and a great start here for the 54 and the 6 rider, Rusty Modesty. They got a great launch, able to quickly jump out in front, open up a bit of a lead here as we see Colton Hardy able to slide down in front of the 42 of Kevin Winker. Seemed like that inside lane just really not got up the speed right there, and unfortunately that's kind of really broken things up. Now you do see the 42 of Winker. He's going to jump to the outside. He wants to pick up that 39 ride of Jackson Connell. Connell's going to work with him here as they're going to reel in that 54 in this 6 machine as there goes K-Dub. He'll jump down to the inside. He's hoping to use that speed and momentum to potentially work his way into the front of the field with Connell there in the middle. Nowhere to go for the 97 of Colton Hardy, but it does break up the 6 and that number 54 of David Traylor Jr. And David, who had that great launch, that great restart, unfortunately, it was a little too good. Unfortunately, just a little bit too good of a restart. Unfortunately, jumping that far out in front can kill a lot of speed and momentum as the drivers behind you kind of build up that draft and start to build up that speed. They catch up to you at a super high rate of speed, and a lot of times that's exactly what happens. They just kind of move down and around you and leave you kind of high and dry. And right there, it happened to Rusty Modesty, and it happened to the 54, David Traylor Jr. as David now finds himself back in about the 12th position. For Modesty, he was able to get back in line behind the 39 ride. Unfortunately, just not quite the same as where he was. Obviously needs to gain a few more spots to jump back up into second, but a lot better than falling there deeper in the field and towards the rear of the field here today. But out in front, it's Kevin Winker. K-Dub's got the race lead. He's got the 97 of Colton Hardy right there with him. As now K-Dub's going to make some moves, throws a couple blocks here, jump to that outside lane. So they were coming with a big head of steam and a lot of power here. He jumps up in front of him, kind of blocks that run. Unfortunately, opens up the inside for Colton Hardy to take over the race lead once again. Is now look out contact. Oh, baby, look out. There goes Joe Yakes. Yakes turned around, hard contact into the inside fence. There's the caution flag as the yellow will come out again. Oh, man, tough break there for Joe Yakes and Michael Yakes. Michael came down pit road to serve his penalty back on lap number 27, and unfortunately has not rolled back in on the racetrack as of yet. For Joe Yanks, all that damage, he's going to take it right down pit side, but we saw the aggressiveness out of Winker and the 39 ride, and looks like they don't get squared up here for a bump, and it looks like it's just going to hook that 42 of Kevin Winker around. So Winker's trying to hang on to it after the big move down to the inside of this 39 ride, and just in front of him now. You see him right on the back bumper, a little bump there, got him a little bent to the shape. Another one there, another one there, and it just kind of hooks him right there. Oh, it's a tough one right there. If you're K-Dub, if you're Mr. Winker, that is not a fun spot to be. Let's see if we can jump on the cockpit here of the it's the 39 ride that was with him, with Jackson Connell. So you're going to watch Connell kind of get in here, get to the back bumper of this 42 right here. And right about here's the contact. So here you go. Here's the contact into him. You see how it kind of just jacks that rear end up. No drive, no nothing. Gets hooked around it. Unfortunately, guard to the inside. Joe Yakes just really nowhere for him to go as Winker's just kind of holding on to the vessel, just trying to keep himself out of trouble. And unfortunately, really not a whole lot that he could do. As here we go. Here's that contact again, right into more of that left rear back bumper area of the 42. You see how it just gets crumpled right up, and unfortunately shoots him down the racetrack into the 87. And now for Joe Yakes, really nowhere for him to go as he just gets pushed right down the speedway. Hard contact into that inside fence. Heavy damage there for that Expeditions ride as Yakes going to go around. That's tough hit right there. Tough hit, tough break. Now, obviously, having a lot of damage, will be down pit side for an extended period of time. And for the 93 of Michael Yakes, Michael, he's back out there. He's back battling here. But unfortunately for that number 93, I do believe he at least went a lap down, maybe I do believe just a lap down. So luckily enough, didn't lose any more laps. It looked like he may have been bound to lose another lap or two right there. Luckily enough, he doesn't, as we do see everyone come back down pit side. So everyone's going to make another pit stop here. We knew fuel was going to be an issue. We knew fuel was going to be something that drivers were going to be really on edge about. And here again, they're coming back down pit road on lap number 30, making sure that they get topped up on fuel, making sure that their rides are ready to rock and roll here, as we are 1/3 of the way through this race. 1/3 through here, 30 laps down, 60 laps left to go. So still a lot of racing, still a lot of time to shine and try to put yourself up into victory lane, and definitely a lot of time to run into more issues, run into more problems, have more, bad things happen to you out there on the racetrack. So for a lot of these drivers, just to keep yourself out of trouble, keep the car pointing in the right direction, not put yourself into a difficult position where, you go around or you're getting put into a bad position out there. You just kind of want to make sure you don't run into too many bad things. You want to make sure you keep yourself in a pretty solid spot out there, and especially with this being this late, having early issues, putting yourself behind the 8 ball, having huge damage problems, or maybe not losing laps in comparison with the caution flags that could fly, potentially being a lap or two down isn't the end of your race. You can definitely get those laps back and try to get yourself back into the battle, but you'll have to just kind of keep yourself out of trouble here, especially late in this race. When you kind of see that final 10 laps to go or so, that's when it's kind of time to shine. That's kind of when it's time to, really start to work yourself up there towards the front. Really start to push that pedal to the metal. Early on, though, being only, 30 laps into this race, there's really no need to be too aggressive or make big, bold moves. Just try to hang with the pack. Don't fall outside of that lead pack and put yourself into a position where you could go a lap down, but just trying to hang with them, kind of a little bit back behind them, keep yourself out of any carnage or damage, and then just be there at the end and in those final, maybe 10, maybe 15 laps, maybe even 5 laps before you finally give it the A-OK to go and trying to race your way up there. So I think for a lot of these drivers, that's going to be kind of on the game plan here, especially if it comes down to fuel mileage. We do see Roberto Ramirez. Here comes Tristan Kyle, Evan Schilling, Keith Prince, Philip Tuscano, Kevin Winker, all coming back down pit side here again, getting some more fuel again into their race cars. So some more strategy here. Obviously, some drivers that were just down pit side there on lap number 30. Other drivers coming back down on lap 31. Should be ready to see who can get it done here in this one as we get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing here at Talladega Superspeedway as the official iRacing pace car here. Getting ready to make another hard left-hand turn back down pit side and unleashing this field here once again this afternoon. As the 6 of Rusty Modesty going to restart to the outside. Now, I'm not sure. I believe Rusty is the race leader here, but it could be that 39 ride of Jackson Connell, but I do believe Jackson is in the second position. I do believe the lead car for the restart is that number 30, or is that 6 rider, Rusty Modesty. Jackson Connell should be in second with the 97 of Colton Hardy in that third spot. Jesse Calloway in position number 4 with David Traylor Jr., Clinton Woodby, Skylar Berry, Bruce Bernard, Evan Schilling, Keith Prince, Philip Tuscano, Tristan Kyle there in 12th with Kevin Winker, Roberto Ramirez, Joe Yakes in that 15th position, and Michael Yakes back in the 16th spot on the Speedway. Now, I do believe for both Joe and Michael Yakes, they're both still 1 lap down, so they're in line for the lucky dog for the free passes here this evening, but they are going to need a couple more caution flags to try to get themselves back into the battle. Alrighty, here we go, down through the restart zone. So the 39 was scored as the race leader there and able to get a big launch. Another good restart for the 39 ride here in this season. And for Jackson Connell, he's out in front. Modesty Getting right here to him. Now here comes that inside lane. Looks like Carl's going to leave the outside, going to high and dry. He'll jump down in front of the QH Designs machines here as some teammates hooked up here down low. That is that 97 of Colton Hardy, the 92 of Clinton Woodby, and the QH Designs number 54 of David Traylor Jr. Kind of all right there together for Jackson Connell. He's keeping them back at bay. He's got them on his back bumper, but if that outside lane starts to open up and if these guys get a good run, look for them to make that move to the outside groove and kind of leave him high and dry, and that's exactly what just happened. So they leave the back bumper of the 39 ride, leave him down low. Unfortunately, their teammate, the 54, David Traylor Jr., couldn't really go with them right there. Had to kind of roll out of it, couldn't really make that move, as now we do see the 97 jump down low. The 92 jumps up to the outside lane. They continue to keep on bouncing around here at the front of the field and making a lot of big moves. As here we go. Here comes that fourth, Jesse Calloway. Calloway right into the mix and back behind these guys. Some more drivers looking to join the fun here. Here comes Philip Tuscano. Here comes the 23 of Tristan Kyle. Teammates here in the Ignite Motorsports group rolling that outside lane and trying to work their way back to the front of the field, especially for Tristan Kyle. Led a lot of laps early in this race just until the end of that stage was passed by that 97 of Colton Hardy. Now Hardy still battling for the race lead, but the 23s had to pull a little bit of a Houdini here after making several pit stops here. Just trying to make sure he gets that extra little bit of fuel into his back pocket and trying to help him out here late in this race when it comes to that fuel strategy game plan. But the 20 ride, not a whole lot of help here. He's got his teammate. There are a couple of fast cats, but unfortunately just maybe not quite fast enough, as you do see that 39, their third teammate here in the Ignite Motorsports group, looked like he was going to jump up into that outside lane. Looks like he's going to bail out of it, though. Get back into the middle here in behind Joe Yanks as the 20 and 23 try to get themselves wound up on the outside lane once again, as Paula Kamari, I can't read, I can't spell, I can't. Paula coming in says, lock in J-Cal, you got it. Got it. Cheering on Mr. Jesse Calloway this afternoon as Jesse right there in the middle of it. 3-4 wide here in the front of the field. Oh, baby, I don't know how they kept themselves pointed in the right direction. My gosh, that was a close call right there. Things could have got a whole lot worse in a quick hurry for Jesse Calloway and the rest of the field as they were 4 wide for the race lead, and that almost did not work. But man, you can see the hustle that these drivers are putting on, man. There is no backing down. There is no give a darn out there on the racetrack. They're looking for the race lead. They want that top spot. They are putting on a show for all the fans in the stands here this evening. As yeah, definitely yawning. I don't know why I'm yawning. I don't know why, but it just happens. Once you start, you cannot stop, and then it's just kind of cursed you for the rest of the afternoon. I yawned earlier, and now just cannot stop yawning. As out in front, the 92 of Clinton Woodby trying to hang on to the top spot. But you see that middle lane. It is all Ignite Motorsports now. All 4 of them have found each other. They've lined themselves up. They control that middle groove with Jackson Connell, Philip Tristan Kyle, and Roberto Ramirez. All 4 of those Ignite Motorsports teammates right there in that middle groove and looking to try to race their way up to the front of the field as Clinton Woodby in that 97 of Colton Hardy trying to keep themselves right there in the mix of it, trying to keep that bottom lane alive here this evening. As I've been the same way all day. Left. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Every once in a while, as soon as it becomes kind of dark, like nighttime, and now that it's winter, here up in Canada, you know, it's dark by, 4 o'clock, 4:30. It's nighttime now, and I think that just throws my body through a loop. My body feels like it's midnight, but it's not. It's only, 9 o'clock Eastern time. It's only 9 o'clock, but my body feels like it's just so much later. Summer body, all the sunlight, it keeps me awake. It keeps me alive. Once it becomes nighttime, I'm rode off. Even though I don't sleep very good, I'm always that the lights kind of go out, I'm ready to start yawning and go to sleep. As Clinton Woodby, though, out in front as the race lead. He's out in front. Jackson Connell, though, working that middle groove. They've been kind of moving around. We've seen a couple of drivers kind of poke their nose into that battle, and we do see that 42 of Kevin Winker came up right back into the mix of it here as he's kind of split up the Unite Motorsports team, jumping in between the 43 and that 20 ride, and Winker's trying to race his way back up to the front of the field as we do see Jackson Connell. Connell jumps right down to the inside. You need a monster. I definitely need a monster. I think I need a case of monsters. Look out! Contact right there between the 92 and the 23 machine. Clinton Woodby and Tristan Kyle make a little bit of contact there, and man, that was a close call right there. Another one at the front of the field. Sometimes being at the front of the pack is the safest place to be when it comes to super speedway. Sometimes that is not the case. Sometimes it's the front where, you know, the mistakes are made and drivers have issues and can take out a lot of competitors in a quick time. Yeah, that time change is brutal. Yeah, that time change kind of just absolutely murdered me. I haven't gotten used to it yet. My body hasn't gotten accustomed to the early darkness, and it definitely sucks. 2-1-3, yeah, I definitely need a monster. I've got a Rockstar right now, but they don't quite do the same. They don't quite cut it as much as a monster does. You know, a monster definitely gets us up and across that line. You know, the Rockstars don't quite get there. I probably needed to crack into this, you know, an hour before the race started, not like 5 minutes before the race started. Maybe give me that extra boost of energy as the race kind of got started, not towards the end. Now, probably by the end, I'll be awake all night after drinking this. But here we go, Winker looking to try to get that third lane rolling once again. Winker jumps to the outside as here we go. They get all split up down in through the start-finish line. And for Kevin Winker, he's got Keith Prince in the 54 of David Traylor Jr. trying to help him out here on that outside lane. Looks like they may get a couple more cats to kind of go with them as here comes Colton Hardy. Here comes the 18 rider, Evan Schilling. They're working that outside lane as well as Tristan Kyle. And his teammate, the 43, has been right there with them all night long. Roberto Ramirez looks like they're going to finally give up on that middle group. They're going to jump down to the inside lane here, and again for the Ignite Motorsports team, they're somehow able to find each other, and they're lined up 1, 2, 3, and 4 in that inside groove. So the Ignite team, once again, looking to work together, looking to try to keep themselves here at the front of the field. But Kevin Winker, he may be their kryptonite here tonight as he's been able to kind of race his way around them, race his way up in front of them, and we'll have to wait and see if he can try to do it again. He needs a little help though, needs that good shove, that good push here from that 3 ride of Keith Prince and the 54 of David Traylor Jr. Hopefully they can try to get a few more drivers into that mix as well. They do have Evan Schilling jumping up there with them, but if they can add Colton Hardy, Joe Yanks, that 4 rider Jesse Calloway could breathe a little extra life into that outside lane and really give them enough to be able to pull out in front and pull away potentially from the rest of the field. So we see Joe Yanks right in this battle. So is it Michael Yanks. Both drivers still a lap down the 93 and the 87 ride. They're going to need a caution flag here for one of them to at least get the lucky dog and try to get themselves back onto the lead lap as once again, everyone had come back down pit side here around lap number 31, lap 30. They were down pit road, and I do believe they should be able to make it somewhere around that 20 lap area for a green flag run. They should be able to run probably about 20 laps or so, maybe a little bit on that, but not a whole lot. And honestly, you kind of just want to make sure that you got some teammates out there. You want to make sure that you got the communications on when a lot of these drivers are coming down pit side. You don't want to be coming down pit road by yourself or a small group. You want to come down with the majority down pit road at the same time, leave with them, and get that group kind of lined back up, because normally what we see at Super Speedways when we start to get into these green flag pit stops is things really get busted open. Things really start to widen out. A lot of this big pack racing kind of gets split up, and we'll end up potentially seeing, 2 or 3 little smaller packs kind of getting formed out there on the racetrack, and the smaller groups are going to have to try to look for each other, try to get lined up together. They're trying to chase down another group out there on the speedway, or potentially, you make a mistake down the road. You skid the tires getting in, or, everyone goes with fuel only. You put 4 tires on, and you don't come out pit side with this pack that you come down pit road with. It can put you behind the 8 ball without any drafting help to your back bumper or your front bumper, from right in the thick of things, right to the back of the pack and out of the loop here. So you see Kevin Winker, who's worked his way in front of that 23 of Tristan Kyle, but man, that middle groove is still pushing as Keith Prince out in front. Prince will lead that lap, but K-Dub now leading the inside lane here. He's got that Ignite Motorsports group right down to his inside. Now, are they going to think about leaving him high and dry if they can get a run to the middle group here and kind of split him, push him down to the inside? Will they take it? Looked like Tristan Kyle was looking a little bit farther to the outside right there, thinking about making that move, thinking about kind of leaving Kevin Winker high and dry out there on the Speedway. Just did not pull the trigger, as now you do see Keith Prince able to get a big enough run to be able to jump down to the inside lane as well. In the Merry Christmas ride will jump in front of Kevin Winker, and for Keith Prince, he'll continue to lead the way. So Prince out in front, but look out, man, these pushes, these bumps are not light. These guys are not rolling out of the throttle. They are sticking right with it. Now here we go. Things are going to get a little bit more broken up. You see the 23 jumps to that middle groove. He saw his teammate up there at 39 of Jackson Connell. As you do see the 18 able to jump down low in front of the 3 of Keith Prince and the 42 of Kevin Winker. But again, inside lane now kind of busted up. In the outside group, kind of getting a little bit more conformed again, as here comes Colton Hardy. Hardy's going to look for the 3rd lane to get opened up here. He jumps up to the 3rd lane on the racetrack. Oh, look out. I think that was Winker almost going around. Hang on to it, gentlemen. Hang on to it. Oh, baby. Another close call right there for K-Dub. My gosh. Again, he gets bumped from behind right here. I don't even know if it was from behind. He may have gotten some contact from the 43 ride potentially. Let's take a look at it. So they're entering corner number 3. He gets checked up right here. Sees the 3 ride checking up. He checks up. You see the flames coming out of the exhaust pipe there on that 42 ride. And obviously for the 6 machine of Rusty Modesty, Modesty could not get checked up quick enough here. And they're going to have to make contact. Bam, right there. They're both sideways. Heavy hit there for Skylar Berry into the back end of the 6. The 6 gets into the back end of the 42. Both drivers now with pretty significant, left rear damage here, and maybe a little front end damage for that 6 ride of Modesty as well. But that also really just broke that pack up a ton, as Jackson Connell leads the way here. Connell's now out in front. Evan Schilling sits in 2nd with David Traylor Jr., Keith Prince, the 20 ride of Philip Tuscano, the 23 of Tristan Kyle back there in 6. You throw Roberto Ramirez and Colton Hardy in there, rounding out our top 8. Then a bit of a gap back to that 87 of Joe Yates, who unfortunately is a lap down back in that 15th position. Our 9th place driver is this number 97 ride, so he's in behind the lap down 93 of Michael Yates out there on the racetrack, and you can see the gap that's kind of formed now between them and that lead pack. Now they picked up Winker and Modesty as well, so they've got a little bit of a 4-car pack. Might be enough for them to kind of catch to the rear tail draft of that field and kind of hang with them, but it's the drivers that are back behind them that may be in trouble. When you look back here at Jesse Callaway, Clinton Woodby, Skylar Berry in the 46 ride, all 3 of these drivers are more than likely going to be without that draft, without that lead group, and they're going to continue to fall farther and farther away. As down across the line, it is a 3-second gap between Jesse Callaway and Rusty Modesty, and unfortunately with them losing that draft and being the 2-car pack, they are going to be in a very, very difficult position, especially if this race continues to stay clean and green out there on the Speedway. But for a lot of these other drivers now, it's time to shine. It's time to start making some moves here, because green flag pit stops are right on the horizon. Green flag pit stops just around the corner. Next time by the start-finish line, they're going to complete 19 laps in this run. Now, probably not about quite 19. They probably went back to green flag racing around lap number 32. So it's more like 16 laps of green flag racing with a couple laps under the caution flag. Jimmy 6 times. What's good, Jimmy? Jimmy says, Anna, Landon owes me money. Oh, gosh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Anna, you tell him. You tell him. Says, don't start that crap again. Don't you start it, Jimmy 6 times. I guess it's Jimmy 3 times now. Jimmy 3 times. Brian Underwood says, Winker Nation. Winker Nation, baby. You know it. That's K-Dub's fans in the stands. Winker Nation out there on the racetrack is K-Dub trying to work his way back up here to the front. He's got that rear end damage. We'll have to wait and see how much that affects his ride and the moves that he's going to be able to do. See the 6 ride right there behind him, who in that damage for Rusty Modesty. We'll have to wait and see what Rusty's able to do here in this one as well. As Jackson Connell continues to lead the way as 3 times says, what lap does Winker wreck? Well, he was already tied up in one. But we do know that Winker tends to either, he's kind of like Ricky Bobby when it comes to the super speedways. It's checkers or wreckers for that 42 ride in. So many times we've seen him, potentially about to put himself into victory lane, and unfortunately a lot of times getting turned, coming down to the start finish line, coming down to the checkered flag, and ended up on his lid. And even himself, he knows that it's a bit of a curse when it comes to these super speedways. And for Winker, he knows that it's going to be not only difficult to find victory lane, but trying to keep the shiny side up on that 42 car is definitely not a fun thing. As Jimmy 3 times says, have they had a green flag pit stop? Not as of yet. I do believe that it is coming up. They're going to be making green flag pits here in probably the next couple laps. I think we're going to start to see these guys head down pit road and start to make their green flag pit stops here this evening. They got a stage break there on lap number 20. We saw another caution flag, a few laps afterwards, including with that 42 car getting tied up into it. Now, they're going to all have to, finally make a green flag pit stop, which could be their final pit stop of the day. Even if they can make it another 4 or 5 laps, I think they're still probably going to have to make an additional pit stop here this evening. I do believe they only have 70% fuel in their ride, so I believe they're going to have to, once again, come back down and make that as Ryan says, Indiana has corn. Will you make me pancakes? Only if you make me pancakes. Jimmy 3 times. What? Only if you'll make me pancakes. As Indiana has corn, eh? I didn't know that. That's crazy. I didn't know that Indiana had corn or grew anything there. Does anyone even live in Indiana? I don't think anyone even lives there, do they? Ooh, Brian, brother. Waffles are mid, bro. I mean, they're like literally the same thing as a pancake, are they not? Is it the same fucking thing? Are they the same thing? Brian likes IHOP, eggs, and bacon. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't like eggs and bacon? There's from IHOP, you hop, or they hop. Eggs and bacon are always a W, brother. Always a W. Jackson Connell, though, has the race lead. Keith Prince right there in that second position. But here comes that 18 right, Evan Schilling, to put him into the 3rd spot here as the Mobile 1, number 18, jumps up into position number 2, looking to try to battle door to door with that 39 ride. Well, with green flag pit stops looming here in the background, when do you make the move down pit side? When do you kind of give that heads up to a lot of these other drivers, knowing that almost the same thing, pretty much the same thing. I mean, what's really different between a waffle and a pancake? Do you not use the same batter? Like, I'm pretty sure I've made waffles before and it's just pancake batter, is it not? Like, what do you just put in other things? I don't think you put in, like, I don't know, more cinnamon. I think you can put cinnamon into waffles, so it'd be like the same thing, would it not? I feel like it'd be the exact same. Yeah. Jeepers, Jimmy 3 times. Jeepers, come on now. No doxing anyone in the chat now. Come on now. Don't give up your info, Anna. Don't you give up your info. As Jackson Connell out in front. Keith Prince, though, right on his back bumper. You see these drivers getting a little bit more squirrely. I feel like these things are starting to lose pace. Maybe lose a little bit of fuel. They're starting to dance around a whole lot more. Maybe these cars are a little lighter on their feet, and you can start to see them trying to get lined up here down on the bottom side. I think we're about to see a lot of drivers come down pit road. I think these guys are about to start to make their way down pit road. Not this time, though. Looked like maybe that's when they were going to pull the trigger, but they were able to extend it here, keep on rolling. So they were last down pit side on lap number 30. Now, they did have a couple caution laps there, so they did have about 2 laps under yellow before we went back to green flag racing. But now with a 23-lap run, during the green flag conditions, they gotta start feeling it. They gotta start feeling it. Let's get a Peacemaker crank it up. Well, we'll be going to a Peacemaker crank it up. Don't you worry about that one, Jimmy, 3 times. Peacemaker game and crank it up will come here momentarily. We're going to wait until after this wave of green flag pit stops, though. We got to wait for the end of the green flag pit stops before we jump into the crank it up. That is for certain. Damn, you gonna get the sausage, Jimmy? Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Brian, are you going to give it to him? You going to give it to him, or am I going to give it to him? All right, here we go. We at least see 3 come down pit side. Now, I'm not sure if I like this strategy. David Traylor Jr., Colton Hardy, Kevin Winker kind of come down pit road here. Now, they are going to get joined by Clinton Woodby and Jesse Calloway. Now, unfortunately, they had lost that lead draft, so they're not really in that mixture, but if these guys wait a little bit longer, if they take a little bit more time, potentially that could put them into a good position, as Jimmy 6 times says, let's go on board with Winker. With K-Dub, you want to jump on board with Kevin Winker? Well, he's done his pit stop now. The Muhlenberger Custom Home Sonographic Designs. Winker Nation right, able to get rolling here. Now he's kind of lined right back up with that 97 and the 54. Now for these 3, they just need to get lined right up together as quickly as possible, as we should start to see a lot of these other drivers come down pit road, and again, it's kind of a split up field here. We see Rusty Modesty come down pit road, and a black flag for the 6 ride. Too fast. Down pit road for the number 6 rider, Rusty Modesty. Modesty, unfortunately, going to get that black flag. He is unfortunately going to have to serve a hold down here on pit lane or a pass-through penalty, so that is going to unfortunately really hurt his chances here this evening. Keith Prince, Bruce Bernard, Evan Schilling all down pit road. Now we do see the 4 Ignite Motorsports rides still rolling here. They have not come down pit road as of yet. Let's see if we can jump on board here with Philip Tuscano and see if this number 20 ride can get down pit lane nice and easy. Here they come. Here comes the Ignite Motorsports team. You got to get checked up. You do not want to get caught speeding down pit road, taking yourself potentially into a bad position here. Everyone hits pit lane. Modesty still down pit road. He's able to serve his penalty here, but I do believe that will eventually put him a lap down here, as there we go. Our technical race leaders have already went around him, and he is still down pit side, as here comes Tristan Kyle into his pit stall. There goes the 43, and right there, you actually saw the 23 ride blow it through his pit stall, and unfortunately for the 23, that's going to cost him a little bit of time here in this one. That could definitely take him out. Man, that is a tough break right there. He sees teammates already gone. That could be a big enough gap that this could really hurt him. We did see the 43 of Roberto Ramirez. Ramirez kind of got loose right here, trying to get turned back around, or trying to exit pit road. Right here, right there, spins the tires, almost loops it. Luckily enough, able to hang on to it and keep it rolling. Now we did see Bruce Bernard also earn a black flag down pit road. He's got to come down pit side to serve this penalty. So for Bruce, unfortunately, having to make that additional pit stop here this evening. A few of these drivers putting themselves into a hole, and for the 3 drivers that came down pit road first, it's David Traylor Jr., Colton Hardy, and Kevin Winker, who now lead the way. They now lead the way, and oh no, there's another one. Tristan Kyle. Black flag for the 23, potentially an unsafe exit to pit road here for the 23, and for Tristan Kyle, he has got a black flag and will have to serve a penalty down pit side. And for one of those Ignite Motorsports rides, this is definitely going to be a heartbreaker for him. This is going to set them back quite a bit. But this is what we talked about, early on about these green flag pit stops and how it kind of splits the field up here. We saw them battling 2 wide, 3 wide, a little 4 wide there before that wave of pit stops. And now we do see David Traylor Jr., Colton Hardy, Kevin Winker, 3-car pack here at the front of the field. You see the 18 and the 3 of Keith Prince. You see the 39 of Jackson Connell and that 20 of Philip Tuscano. They're trying to reel them in. They got the 4-car pack, so they maybe got a little bit of extra speed here. They may be able to slowly but surely reel in our top 3, especially once they start to catch the draft off the back bumper of that 42 of Kevin Winker. Now, if you're Roberto Ramirez, you got to be feel a little treacherous right now, because you want to try to catch these guys. You're hoping that this 3-car pack that you have could be enough to get you into that that battle, but with your teammate Tristan Kyle with the black flag, he's going to have to come down pit road here very soon before iRacing starts to penalize him even more. So if you're the 23, you don't want to leave your teammate high and dry, but you also don't want to really kill your chances of trying to battle back in this race with a wave around or a little timely caution flag. Potentially don't lose a lap, and if you're the 23, you want to try to keep yourself in the battle as much as possible. But for the 43, that could be the loss of the draft right here, and really just no one to his back bumper to help him out. He does have the lap down 87 to Joe Yanks. Yanks is struggling though, and he may not be able to really give him as much of a run or push that he needs to try to get back into the battle, and unfortunately not enough time for the 23. He's got to come down pit side. So Tristan Kyle does make his pit stop once again. So coming back down pit road, having to serve this penalty for the 23 machine. Definitely a difficult spot to be. Definitely not a fun time having to make this long trip down pit road. And obviously he's able to exit pit lane here. Doesn't have to make a stop. It's just a pass-through penalty. He's able to get back into the throttle, but you can see that he's given up a ton of time. He's got no one around him here. He's potentially going to have to wait for the 17 ride, someone like Bruce Bernard or some of these other drivers that are already a lap down to kind of help him out. But I don't think there's a whole lot of help coming to his back bumper, which is going to make things worse and worse and worse for that 23 machine. No one in front of him, no one really back behind him as of right now, as our race leader Colton Hardy continues to lead the way. Evan Schilling, David Traylor Jr., Keith Prince, K-Dub, Kevin Winker, they're in position number 5 with the 39 ride of Jackson Carl. Now Philip Tuscano kind of falling back here a little bit off their rear bumper. What he's trying to do is kind of bring a little bit more of this lead draft to the nose of the 43 and Roberto Ramirez, their third teammate there at the Ignite Motorsports group. And luckily enough, I think it was just enough, that push that he had gotten from the 23 of Tristan Kyle, and these guys kind of just hanging out towards the back, maybe getting a little bit more separated, trying to make sure that that 43 could catch and get a sniff of the draft. And luckily enough, he's able to catch a piece of it, able to reel himself in here, and now we're part of the battle here at the front of the field. But this is it. This is our top 8 all right here together. It is a 16-second gap all the way back to our 9th place driver, the 4 ride of Jesse Calloway. Clinton would be right there with them, and then it's another 13 seconds back to our 11th place driver, that number 23 of Tristan Kyle. Then he's going to add another 16 seconds to Bruce Bernard, who will have Skylar Berry and Rusty Modesty here, who are about to go a lap down, who sit in 13th and 14th. And with our race leaders reeling up to their rear bumper here in a quick hurry, they are definitely at risk and more than likely about to go a lap down. They may try to hang on to it and try to keep themselves in this battle as they throw a couple big sliders. There's going to be some contact. Look out! Lap traffic going to play a factor, and right there almost cost a couple good drivers a good night at the racetrack there. Man, Rusty was really trying to just keep himself at the front of the pack, and luckily enough that did not cause him too much pain or any of these other drivers a good run out the window. They just need to get to the tail end of this field as quickly as possible, try to catch the draft here of this lead pack and hang with these guys, give them an opportunity to get a lucky dog or a wave around and back into this battle this afternoon with a couple late race caution flags. But for David Traylor Jr., for the 54 ride, very close call there for him, very close call for the 39 ride, but you do see the Ignite Motorsports team up here in the front of the field. They got a 3-car pack still. They may have lost their teammate in that 23 of Tristan Kyle to the black flag, but it is still very much a good 3-car pack here at the front of the field with the 39, the 20, and the 43 all working together. Teammates here at the front of the field will have to wait and see if they can work well enough together to put up a fight here and potentially put themselves up and in to victory lane. But for Colton Hardy, David Traylor Jr., a couple of these other drivers, they have been friends for a while. They have worked together in the past. They've been teammates in the past. They're going to continue to try to work with each other and help each other out here and see if they can put one or the other up and into victory lane, but with no team affiliation, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, making that late race move or last lap move for David Trailer Jr., for Skylar Berry or Kevin Winker, they are absolutely going to pull the trigger on it and try to put themselves into the winning situation. As you do see, David Trailer does jump up into that middle groove here once again, in behind that 43 ride, trying to kind of reel them in a little bit as they continue to shuffle around and nice and easy back down across the start-finish line. They will complete lap number 66 here this evening. So 66 laps completed. I believe that is 24 more laps left to go here today as we're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker game and crank it up, ladies and gentlemen. Boys and girls, you guys know what to do. Crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. be a beautiful crank it up session right there, giving us the sights and sounds around Talladega Superspeedway. Is out in front. They've been slicing and dicing it, but it is still the Ignite Motorsports team who sits at the front of the field. And now with their lap down teammate, the 23, Tristan Kyle, right here with them. He has been able to race his way back on the lead lap. And for Tristan, he sits out in front here, giving himself what would have been the race lead, but now stands as him on the lead lap, keeping himself on the lead here this evening. But right behind him is our race leader, that number 39 rider, Jackson Connell, for the split moment. As here come a few more lap down drivers to his outside. Here comes the 46, Skylar Berry, the Honesty. They're getting a great jump here from Kevin Winker. K-Dub, he's pushing two drivers that are a lap down. I don't know if he realizes that they're a lap down or not, or if he's just trying to use him to try to work his way to the front of the field, but knowing that they're a lap down, definitely going to set him back a little farther. If they were lead lap drivers, they were going to follow him harder. Maybe he would have been able to find a little extra speed here. Unfortunately, looks like he will fall back and out of it here. He's going to slide back deeper in behind these guys. And for the Winker Nation, number 42, you'll have to find a hole right here. You'll get in behind David Traylor Jr. for the 46 and that 6 ride of Modesty and Barry. They're going to have to try to find another dancing partner, someone else to try to help them out here and see if they can try to work their way back up in front of our race leader, Jackson Connell, to put him to the lead here. And virtually, just like Tristan Kyle is doing. That's what they were hoping to do. If they could get out in front, if they could try to put themselves in front of this pack, would put them back on the lead lap in case if there was another caution flag. Is racing down across the line. There's only 13 more laps left to go, and time is running out for a lot of these drivers. You gotta really start making some moves. You gotta really start looking for certain areas to kind of head down pit side, and that's really gonna decipher put themselves into a winning situation here with green flag pit stops once again kind of on the horizon here for a lot of these drivers. They were able to make it virtually about 26 to 28 laps there throughout that first run before coming down pit road. So I think for a lot of these drivers, probably somewhere right around lap number 80 is when they're going to come back down pit side. They all probably want to try and make it, not having to come back down pit road, but I do believe that everyone is going to have to make at least one more pit stop here this evening. And now, working with your teammates, working with the crew, making sure that you guys are all on the same page, knowing, what the strategy is going to be. Are you going down pit side and getting 5 gallons of fuel? Are you getting 4 gallons worth of fuel? How much do you need and how much do you want when you come down pit side to virtually get a splash of gas and go? You don't need to hang around. You don't need to sit down there for too long. You don't need, 10 gallons or 15 gallons, which may add an extra 2 or 3 seconds to your pit stop. You only need enough to get you to that checkered flag, and for a lot of these drivers, that could be a very short stop. That could be your 3 or 4 gallons. That's good to go, and you can kind of shave a couple seconds down pit side. But you don't want to get that gun wrong and burn up too much fuel and potentially put yourself into a position where you have to make another late race pit stop. As here we go, we do see Colton Hardy, we see the 42 of Kevin Winker, David Traylor Jr. They're all going to head down pit side. So at least 3 drivers head down pit road. And now for David Traylor Jr., for Winker, and that 97 rider Colton Hardy, they did this on that first green flag pit stop and actually put them out in front of the field here. They were able to lead for a few laps before the rest of that pack kind of caught up to them. So I think they're kind of on that same game page, that same plan here. The splash of gas and go. They're all back on the throttle. They're going to come down pit road together. They're going to leave pit road together. No penalty flags or anything else. So they're going to look to hopefully try and, once again, leapfrog themselves potentially to the race lead. But we do have Jackson Connell, Philip Tuscano, and Roberto Ramirez continue to lead the way here. Looks like they're going to wait for at least another lap before coming down pit side. As here comes Evan Schilling, Keith Prince, and I do believe that is the 17 ride of Bruce Bernard, also coming down pit side for their final pit stops of the day. Leaving 4 of the front runners here on the same team, all coming down pit road potentially at the same time. Now we'll have to wait and see what the verdict will be for the 46, the Skyler for the 6th rider, Rusty Modesty. Both of those drivers are a lap down. Do they try to stretch the field out a little bit longer than the Ignite Motorsports team that are right in front of them and just around them here? potentially hope for a caution flag, hope that they can stay on the lead lap and then come down pit side and get their final splash of gas before leaving pit road. They're going to lose all that track position. They'll have a track position, so it looks like at least for that 6th rider, Rusty Modesty, he's going to give it a shot. Now for the 46th, Skylar Berry, he does come down pit road with these guys, so they all come down tight together. We'll have to wait and see where they all get lined back up, as now Clinton Woodby, Jesse Calloway, they will have the race lead here. The 87 and the 93, both a lap down out there on the racetrack. So for Joe Yakes and Michael Yakes, they were kind of just sitting ducks here, hoping for maybe a timely yellow to help them out, help their case here this evening, as here they come now making their way down pit road. It looks like the 4 is going to go with them, and there we go. Pit stops are completed, and it looks like as drivers coming back out on the pit lane here, the United Motorsports team, they're hoping to get lined back up in a quick hurry. Jackson Connell, Roberto Ramirez, the 20 of Philip Tuscano. Where's Evan Schilling? There's Evan right here, down and out of corner number 1. He's going to start to roll around these guys now. That looks like they're going to be able to carry quite a bit of speed down and out of corner number 2 on that bottom lane. Are they going to be able to just join right into this fight? It looks like they are. They're going to work themselves around the 39 ride. So it looks like for the United Motorsports team, they're going to have to try to get lined back up together. The 39 tries to catch on to the draft right here, going to hang with these guys. Is a big run for Kevin Winker. The 97 of Colton Hardy and that 54 of David Traylor Jr. Looks like Winker's going to jump right down to the inside here. And they're hoping that they'd have a big enough lead that they'd have a bit of a gap, a little bit more of a gap potentially between themselves and the Unite team here. As Jackson Collins going to back up to his teammates. He'll pick up that 43 Roberto Ramirez, that 20 of Philip Tuscano. They should get a bit of the draft here off that lead pack and should be able to reel them in which case will be again our top 8 duking it out here for the race win this evening. Now for these 3, they're going to be back behind the 8 ball a little bit. Obviously they lost their teammate in that 23 of Tristan Kyle. Tristan's back here a little deeper in the field, did not get the pit stop that he was hoping for, did not get to hang with his teammates, and now will be back behind them a little bit. So they've lost a little help here to their case, a little help to kind of work together, but we'll have to wait and see if this 3-car tandem can just race their way up to the front of the field. So here they come to the outside of David Traylor Jr. Looks like the 97 of Colton Hardy is going to jump in front of them here, kind of breaks them up ever so slightly, and that kind of just really kind of blew up a lot of their speed momentum that they had, that they used to reel in that lead group, and now kind of losing that, unfortunately falling back ever so slightly. We'll have to try to get wound back up again, see if they can make some moves for Colton Hardy. He's hoping that 39 ride maybe will just push him up here into the race lead if they can put that 93 lap down again out there on the Speedway. Unfortunately for Michael Yanks, going to fall another lap down out on the racetrack. I believe that will put him 2 laps down now for Joe Yanks. He's potentially about to go 2 laps down as well in the 87. Bruce Bernard, Tristan Kyle, Rusty Modesty, and Skylar Berry all find themselves, unfortunately, no longer on the lead lap. Our top 8, though, all right here together, stacked up door to door to door out there on the speedways. Now, here we go. The Ignite team, we've seen that 39 make the move plenty of times before. You leave that little bit of a gap between yourself and the inside lane. He's not scared to poke his nose into that spot, and he will drive his way right to the front of that outside lane. His teammates go with him, unfortunately, and it just sends that 97 of Colton Hardy to the tail end of that pack, and unfortunately, he's going to have to try to figure another way to get back around them here. And for Kevin Winker, a bit of damage on that left rear still. Hasn't had an opportunity to come down under yellow and try to get that thing repaired, so I think he's been struggling a little bit with it here. We'll have to wait and see if that will continue to be an issue here for K-Dub, if that will potentially hinder his abilities to make some moves and try to slice and dice his way into victory lane here this evening. Is nice and easy back down into the tri-oval. You see that middle groove kind of going up a little bit right there. Does Winker find a run to get to the inside of the 43 and try to work his way back in front of these guys with that inside groove? Got a great run. It did kind of break them up a little bit. You see Jackson Collins going to have to jump to the bottom lane here. He has to leave his teammates, and fortunately they'll be in the middle row kind of by themselves. They're now going to work on the back bumper of that 39 ride. Does Jackson Connell jump back up? Does he try to move back in front of them, try to pick them back up here down the back straightaway? Doesn't quite look like it, as Winker just continue to push his back bumper here, but the outside lanes, continue to hold strong. You see the 43 actually make up ground here, even though it's a two-car tandem there in that middle groove. They were able to work their way right door to door with that 39, and now you see Winker gets a little tight as, oh, the caution flag is out. Late race yellow flag. Oh, this will mix things up a lot. All right, so it looks like potentially Joe Yanks. The Yanks 87 on YouTube, the Expedition number 87. Ryan going to run into some problems here. Let's take a look at it, see what happens here to Joe Yanks. As Joe right here is going to get some contact, going to get a big shove from the fore right of Jesse Calloway, and unfortunately just the way that he was pushing him here kind of goes up his back bumper, then kind of comes back down to the left of his back bumper, and it just hooks his 87 right around. Hard contact up into the outside fence. He's going to go for a few loop-de-loops here as he's going to spin around it. Unfortunately, that will put us under another caution flag here late in this race. I do believe our third yellow of the day, so that'll really mix things up. And for Yanks, he's still trying to nurse this thing back down pit road. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if it's going to make it there. He may have to tow that thing down pit side, and it looks like he finally will, as Jackson Connell, Roberto Ramirez, Kevin Winker, our top three, with Philip Tuscano, Evan Schilling, Colton Hardy, Keith Prince, and David Traylor Jr. I'm not sure if they were going to be happy with their top 8, but I'm sure they probably weren't too upset with a solid top 8. They now have an opportunity to fall back a little farther here, as that's going to bring Jesse Calloway. It's going to bring Clinton Woodby, and that 46 ride of Skylar Berry right back into the battle, as I do believe Berry was in that lucky dog position. So for the Ghost Energy Sonic Graphic Designs, number 46 of Skylar Berry will be back on the lead lap, will be back into the battle here this evening. Now, a couple of drivers thinking about coming down pit road, and we do see Winker and David Traylor Jr. They're going to come down pit side. Now, for Winker, that's probably not a bad call. He does have a bit of damage on that 42 ride, so that could definitely help him out. For Jesse Calloway, may have a little bit of front end damage after his contact there, but definitely doesn't hurt. You're back there deeper in the field. Maybe throw some extra fuel into it, give yourself some more stability, maybe some fresh tires if you got a set. Might as well use them. It's probably not going to give you a ton of extra speed, but maybe just being a little bit more stable, cutting through some of the traffic, cutting through some of the different lanes, going from the high side to the bottom side and back and forth. Having that extra little bit of tire could be the difference maker late in this race to be able to put yourself into a winning situation. As Jackson Connell, though, out in front, he'll have his teammates Roberto Ramirez and Phil Tuscano right there behind him as we get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. Evan Schilling will be in position number 4 with Colton Hardy there in 5th. Keith Prince, David Traylor Jr., and now Jesse Calloway are top 8 as we go back to Green Flag Racing. Clinton Woodby will be in 9th, and Kevin Winker will round out our top 10. Skylar Berry is getting that wave around. He's gotten it already, and he is back on the lead lap. So for that Ghost Energy ride, he'll get lined up at the tail end of the field. And now, you throw in some of the lap traffic as well here. You throw in Rusty Modesty, Tristan Kyle, Bruce Bernard, Michael Yanks. You know, obviously, they're lapped down. They're in a tough position. Obviously, they can battle here and hope to put themselves into that free pass spot. But if there is no other caution flags, if they can just get up a little closer in front of the field, maybe they can help out one of their teammates, one of their buddies, potentially get the run or the lane that they need, work themselves into a win this afternoon, as the race is probably going to go to a little bit of NASCAR overtime here this evening. We'll wait and see. I do believe the lights will turn off next time by the start-finish line, and I do believe we will be heading to a little overtime here this evening, as we'll get a quick word in from our sponsors here this evening. Everybody lined up 2 by 2 by 2, ready to rumble once again here from Talladega Superspeedway. The Full Throttle Outlaws Racing League about ready to go back to battle here in the winning bid. NASCAR diecast sales and card breaks 225 here from Talladega, baby, as these drivers get ready for what could be their final restart of the day. A green-white checkered here for these drivers, meaning that we will get the green flag if we can complete one lap and take the white flag. Then the next flag will end this race no matter what. If we do not get back to the white flag and the caution flag comes back out, then we will stack them up, we will rack them up, and we will do it all over again. Now, that is if we make it one lap. There is a big chance and a big opportunity that we do not make it that far. But if it does happen, if we do have to go to a second overtime session, then we will do it all over again, and they will have a third attempt at it. During that third attempt, if the caution flag comes out at any point in time, the next flag will end the race, whether it's the caution flag or the checkered flag. But that is only if we have to use that third and final NASCAR overtime. But this is our first attempt here this evening as the NASCAR overtime has gotten underway. Is down through the Geico restart zone. Great restart for the 39 rider Jackson Connell. Not a whole lot of help directly to his back bumper as the outside lane maybe a little bit more organized as the 18 Evan Schilling pushing this 43 Roberto Ramirez almost to the race lead, almost clear of his teammates here. I think for the 43, that was almost the call you wanted right there. You almost wanted to jump down in front of them, but I think for right now, the Ignite Motorsports team, they know that if they can control this inside and outside lane, now they could set them up nicely for late in this race to be able to hang on to the race win. But now they kind of spit him out. The 43 jumps down low. They'll be lined up 1, 2, and 3 for Ignite down the inside group. But the 39 Ryan says, you know what, even though we're teammates, I still want to put myself into the winning situation as well. Jumps up in front of Evan Schilling. He'll lead us down into the tri-oval. There's a little contact. They're getting a little squirrely, but somehow or another, they all keep themselves pointed in the right direction as the white flag will fly. So the white flag has been displayed, and look at that outside lane. Here comes Clinton Woodby, here comes David Trailer, and Kevin Winkers right there helping up that outside lane, trying to build up that speed and the momentum. Here comes Colton Hardy to help him as well, but there's contact. Around goes Woodby. Woodby's around, no caution flag. We'll keep it clean and green. Keith Prince is in there as well as Evan Schilling comes out of it with the race lead. But here comes Winker. Winker with a big run. They make contact. Winker and Schilling now into the fence. Connell's hanging on to the race lead, but here comes Colton Hardy. Here comes Skylar Berry. The 54 of David Trailer's right there as well as there's more contact. A bump down into the tri-oval. It looks like they may drag races. There's more contact. Look out. Oh, the 39 able to hang on to it. Here comes the 97. They can't get there. It's Jackson Connell able to hang on to it and keep the 39 pointed in the right direction, and Jackson Connell will pick up the checkered flag here in this one, with Colton Hardy coming home in second and Skylar Berry going to round out our top three here this evening. A driver that had just got the wave around back on the lead lap for Skylar Berry to almost win this race. An incredible late race charge there for him, but for Jackson Connell, incredible late race battles there to throw some good blocks to keep that speed momentum back there behind him, kill all their drives and still put himself up here into victory lane. Was a thing of beauty as Connell's going to get ready to celebrate here at Talladega Superspeedway for Colton Hardy, Skylar Berry, David Trailer Jr., and the rest of the field. What could have been? Unfortunately, just coming up a little bit short as Connell will celebrate here at Talladega Superspeedway as he's pumped up. Big win here this afternoon for the Ignite Motorsports team. They were there at the front of the field. They battled hard all evening long. Things went astray for them late in this race, but for the 39 rider Jackson Connell, it puts him up and into victory lane as we'll get ready to pull him and the rest of our top three up and into the broadcast booth here for their post-race interviews. Post-race interview is going to come up here in just a couple of seconds. Let's see if we can get Jackson here into the booth right now. Hey Jackson, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. You get a copy? Just 1 second here. I gotta fix my Discord and Streamlabs tend to always get broken up here. I don't know why. It's a new thing. Say something again for me quickly. I can hear you, just the stream can't hear you. So I'm trying to figure that out. Yeah. Okay, try it again.
Howdy.
Okay, there we go. They can hear you now. They can hear you now. All right. Jackson, man, what a run, what a race, man. Take us back through this one. Obviously, 90 laps plus a little overtime late in this one for you to be able to duke it out not only with all these amazing competitors, but with your teammates as well. And it comes down to a NASCAR overtime here this evening. And it came with some craziness there on that final lap. A few wrecks, obviously, a lot of different big runs from different drivers. And somehow or another, you're able to just kind of put yourself into the right place at the right time to where they either get into the back end of you, you're able to get the good block in where it doesn't spin you, but it kills their momentum and allows you to stay out in front of these drivers late in this one. There's a lot of hard chargers coming to your back bumper, but no one able to find their way past you to steal this win away as you celebrate here on the front straightaway at Talladega Superspeedway. Jackson, take us back through it and what's going through your mind.
Damn. for for how many cars were available there at the end there, that was intense. Um, Great teamwork. My team did a phenomenal job. That's probably the best one we've done all season. Um, Communication was on point. Uh, 23 had the unfortunate blend line violation, which we're going to take a look at here in a little bit. But I mean, we worked with him until that last pit stop, and he accidentally took tires. So that did him in. But we just teamwork makes the dream work, I guess. I don't really know how else to describe that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great job
Teamwork.
all around.
Yeah, teamwork was definitely on point. We saw you guys lined up, 1, 2, 3, and 4 many times out there on the speedway, even when the 23 was trying to stay on the lead lap to try to keep himself in the battle here. You guys were still finding each other. You're getting lined up together, or even late in this one, looked like maybe you guys were going to try to control the two bottom lanes here, and then all of a sudden it seemed like the 43 kind of got shoved or just made the decision to jump down in front of you, and he said, you know what, we're teammates, I still want to win though, and you jumped up into that middle groove, and it tended to be the great move and the race winning move as it kind of put those guys back behind you. Unfortunately, they got tied up in a couple of those last lap wrecks and didn't get the finishes that they deserved. But for yourself, it just kept you in the right position, the right place, and just being in that right position at the right time put you up here into victory lane.
Yeah, for sure. I'm all for working with my teammates until it comes to it. I gotta look out for myself like any other teammate would. I would expect the same from them. So, um, but we wouldn't have even been in this spot if we didn't work together. So, the field did a really good job for the field that we had. It was pleasant. We didn't crash too much. And the green flag pit strategies were really cool as well. So it was nice to finally run one of these that makes it long enough that we can pit under green. Everybody did a really good job. It was a ton of fun tonight, and appreciate my team again and everybody that raced with me at the end there.
Yeah, absolutely. Some great racing, some great battles all evening long, and you're able to park this 39 Ignite ride up and into victory lane here this evening in our second playoff race. Now, I do believe if you win, you're into the next round of these playoffs. So, how does that feel, knowing that you're able to, gain that ticket into the next round, that you don't have to go into this third race and, stress or worry about the point situation?
Yeah, it does feel really nice. Short tracks aren't exactly my strong suit. It's where I tend to struggle. So, uh, working on those, but um, yeah, I plate racing and mile and a halfs are kind of my thing. So being able to sweep the plate tracks this year and lock myself in these next three tracks in the next round are pretty good to me as well. So hopefully we can take advantage of that and race for the championship at Homestead.
Absolutely, definitely what we're all going to be looking forward to as a fierce competitor out there each and every week, man. It's great to see again another W and another good win here this late in the season. Obviously, a few more potentially on the horizon for you in your drive to the championship. Jackson, congrats on the win here tonight, man. Is there anyone else you'd like to thank for such a great run, a great performance here tonight at Talladega?
Uh, Again, can't reiterate it enough. My teammates, they we put all of ourselves in a good spot to race forward at the end and be in a good position to see the checkered flag, which I think I might have been the only one. Yeah, I guess the rest of my teammates got caught up in that crash. So um, happy to be the flagship driver this week for the team. I wish everybody else could have been there to race with me at the end for it, but um, yeah, I just want to thank them and thank my family. I know some of my family likes to tune in and watch this on Friday nights when they're bored. So um, it's always fun to run for them, knowing that they're watching.
Absolutely. Well, Jackson, heck of a run, heck of a drive, man. Congratulations on the win here this evening. We look forward to seeing you back in action next Friday night and potentially right back up here in Victory Lane.
Yes, sir. Thank you much.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Jackson Connell. It's Connell picks up the dub here this evening. We'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher of the 97. It's Mr. Colton Hardy. Hey, Colton, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Colton, man, another great run, another great race for yourself as you're able to come home with another second place finish. I know you wanted that dub, but right there at the end just couldn't quite get the run that you needed or the push that you needed in the lane to be able to make that move and steal this win away from Jackson Connell, man. Take us back through what's going through your mind after, a crazy race, winning that first stage, being able to battle here throughout this entire feature event, and then right there at the end, almost being able to steal this win.
Yeah, I mean, like always, you're really just at the liberty of everybody else and at the liberty of Lady Luck. So, if she wants to deal her cards to you, she will. If not, she's going to take you out. I felt like the car was strong all night. I felt like I could really side draft a lot better than a bunch of the competition around. So that I would say David helped me a lot on that first run to get to the stage, but a lot of side drafting was done on the 23, the 20, and Jackson and those guys. So they held it too. So there was a lot of close racing, a lot of good racing tonight. There wasn't an absolute wreck fest there, like some super speedway races are. But overall grateful with the finish. Grateful that everybody had a decent run and everybody pretty well kept it straight for the most part.
Yeah, absolutely. For the most part, everyone able to keep on battling, keep up the intensity level as well as we saw a lot of, 2 wide, 3 wide, even a little bit of 4 wide racing there at the front of the field, man. As you guys were putting on a heck of a show, and most of the time when we looked up, we saw you and your teammate there in the 54, David Traylor Jr., kind of just rolling that third lane and getting something built up there, and really just turning up that wick a little bit more, the intensity level every time we saw you guys jump up there to that outside lane, and that was almost the lane that drove you guys into victory lane here late in this race.
Yeah, David was one hell of a pusher all evening. Really, I mean, anytime we got behind a teammate, a couple of teammates got stranded out on whenever there was a half wreck that happened that iRacing should have thrown but didn't. Which that's a whole other interview for a whole other day of grievances with iRacing. Otherwise, yeah, he pushed hard tonight. Even with around Clinton and Jesse and Joe and Michael, those guys, they're all pushing me hard, so I can't complain at all. I have some great teammates.
Yeah, some great teammates, some great racing, and a heck of a show here this evening, man. Colton, who would you like to thank for another great run and another solid performance here from Talladega?
The drivers that keep showing up every week. Obviously, this year's been a little bit of a lower participation, so we're going to take some more swings at it in the off season. So every guy that's showing up every week, guys who pop in every other week, something like that, I appreciate them. I see them, and that means the world to me. Everybody who's watching, I hope you got treated to a good show. It definitely looked like a really good show from the cockpit. So sponsors: QH Design, Johnny Johnson Motorsports, Blair Peterson over at the Winning Bid. If you ever need any diecast, he's got just about anything you can imagine, or he can find it. Full Throttle Paint Co., Metal Hitch Truck Series, Moza Racing, Admin Box. There's too many guys to name. My team, everybody, you. So just overall a decent night. I can't complain at all. We had a good driver count, so a lot of good racing. Good night.
Absolutely, that's all you can hope for, and that's all you can ever want. It's just some good, great racing, man, and it's always quality over quantity when it comes to drivers out there on the speedway. And here tonight, that showed as you guys were able to put on an absolutely amazing event for all the fans in the stands to enjoy here this evening. Colton, congrats on the great run. Congrats on a great second place finish, man. We look forward to seeing you back out there next Friday, maybe one spot better and up in victory lane.
I appreciate it, Aaron. Have a great evening, brother.
You do. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher here this evening, Colton Hardy. Hardy comes home in position number 2 here this evening as we'll get ready now to pull in our third place finisher, the 46, Skylar Berry. Hey, Skylar. Hey, Skylar, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Not too bad, Skylar, man. Heck of a run, heck of a drive here tonight for you in this one. Obviously, some tight racing, some great battles early on and throughout this one. Then with those green flag pit stops, I can't remember if you got a penalty or if it was just a slower pit stop, but you ended up losing that draft. You fall back here, and you end up going a lap down. You and the 6th rider, Rusty Modesty. Then you guys battled hard there with that lead group for many, many laps until that final kind of wave of green flag pit stops hit you guys a little farther back. Not really in line to, have that, lead or anything else to give yourself the lap back there after those pit stops. And luckily enough for yourself, late in this race, getting that very late caution flag puts you right back into the battle as it gives you the wave around. You get back on the lead lap. Obviously, no track position. You're back behind the field, but as the seas start to part here, all the chaos and carnage in front of you, you're able to just drive your way right through there. And if it wasn't for, one block there from the 39 of Jackson Connell, potentially could have been able to steal the race win away here this afternoon, man. Take us back through, obviously the race and then those final laps here to almost put yourself into victory lane.
Yeah, honestly, it was just kind of going with the flow, running the bottom like I usually do to plate track. I'm not super comfortable with the Xfinity car yet, so I was just kind of chilling a lot more than usual. And then the reason I fell off is actually me, Kevin, and Rusty I don't know what caused it, but there's like a accordion effect where we all kind of checked up with each other. And the shot I ended up giving Rusty pushed him back to the pack, so I fell off by myself. And then after the next cycle came around, we ended up next to each other again because he got a penalty. And then, from there, it was just keep digging, trying to race Tristan for the lucky dog. And then I realized that because his teammates, he ended up in front of them, so he was on the lead lap technically, so I was fine to just sit third and fourth. Knew to just pit with those guys, stay with them as much as possible, which that didn't work out the best, but ended up back with Rusty, fought hard, like I said, just kept digging, and then from there, honestly, off the restart at the end, I thought it was over because I got hit. There's a huge checkup in the back and hit the guy in front of me, giving myself front end damage, and got hit in the back. So it was pretty dead in the water until the wreck, but saw the line, took the line in the wreck, figured I'd get a good points finish, and then the other wreck happened. I, from there, just put the head down even more and try to get it happen.
Absolutely. Just keep your foot in the throttle, trying to avoid the carnage there. Luckily enough, you're able to dodge a lot of bullets late in this race and put yourself right up here onto the podium for what was looking to be, fairly bleak, mediocre finish there, mid-pack a lap down, and all of a sudden you come out of it with a top 3 performance. Man, it's got to feel like a win in its own right.
Oh, for sure. Honestly, just waiting to see how the points boil out. Might be in the next round of the playoffs, might not. It's going to be close.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do believe this is only the second of 3 races, if I'm not mistaken. So I do believe you should have another race to kind of go after it and try and put yourself into the next round.
Yeah, but it's Martinsville. I'm not a huge fan of Martinsville.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be tough. That's going to be another one, kind of like here. It's going to be a bit of a lucky dog sort of thing. You just try to stay on the lead lap, try to avoid the carnage, and hope for the best there because it can be a wreck fest there in a quick hurry at Martinsville. But hopefully not. Hopefully it's good, clean racing. Hopefully it's some good, clean fun there. And hopefully, another half-decent, solid performance for yourself. Maybe another trip up here into the broadcast booth. Skylar, heck of a run, heck of a drive here late in this race. Come home with a top 3 podium finish this afternoon. Skylar, who would you like to thank for another great run here tonight?
Just all my friends and family. My mom, who usually watches all the races. My roommate, Dakota, usually watches them. I know I'm not teammates with him, but DeColton, we super good friends. We race with each other nonstop. This is kind of the one league we get to actually knock doors and actually race each other for races. Other than that, just everyone in here, you for putting on the broadcast.
Beauty. Well, Skylar, heck of a run, heck of a show here this evening, man. We can't wait to see you back in action from Martinsville next Friday night and see if you can make another incredible comeback and put yourself right back up here into the booth.
Yes, sir. You have a good one.
You do. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Skylar Berry. As Berry comes home here in position number 3. Heck of a run, heck of a drive there for that number 46 machine. Unfortunately, though, that will do it for us here this evening, man. Some great racing, some great battles here this evening, man. These guys put on an absolute wicked show for us. And if you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit the like button on the stream right now. Hit that subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family. Turn those bell notifications on. That way you never miss any of the green flag racing here on Peacemaker Gaming. But listen, we can't thank y'all enough for tuning in and showing the love here in this one, and we'll catch y'all back here in the next one, man. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see y'all later. Woo!
Engines scream, asphalt burns, the grip's a gamble. Tires squeal, hearts race, this leads to scandal. Full throttle, no brakes, chasing that checkered. Drafted lines tighter than a bank teller's ledger. Turn 4, a monster, jaws wide like a gator. Pit stop, quick cruise, move sharp as a razor. Adrenaline pumps, veins fuel injected. Outlaws on the track, chaos perfected. Full throttle kings, we don't slow down. Ripping through the night, owning this town. Gas to the floor, the crowd gets loud. Outlaws racing, we're born unbound. Smoke trails, girl, exhaust whisper secrets. Victory's a beast, only the brave can keep it. Paint jobs flash, sponsors on the side. Egos collide, stealing pride. Oval dreams where legends ignite. Green flag drops, sparks kiss the night. This ain't a hobby, this a gladiator's grind. Racing's the religion, speed's the shrine. Bump draft, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Bump draft, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Slow trails curl, exhaust whisper secrets. Victory's a beast, only the brave can keep it. Paint jobs flash, sponsors on the side. Egos collide, stealing pride. Oval dreams where legends ignite. Green flag drops, sparks kiss the night. This ain't a hobby, this a gladiator's grind. Racing's the religion, speed's the shrine. Bump draft, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Bump draft, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights.